Have you ever thought about building a city? Now, imagine building that city out of massive stones, not on solid ground, but on top of a living coral reef right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It sounds impossible, right? Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the world's most incredible and mysterious ancient sites, the impossible city of Nan Madol.
I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. How do you actually do it? How do you quarry and move tons of volcanic rock and then build a massive city on a foundation of delicate, living coral? This place is a feat of engineering that just completely challenges everything we think we know about what ancient people were capable of, especially with no modern tech.
So to even begin to wrap your head around Nan Madol, you kind of have to start where the story begins, with the legends. And local tradition doesn't talk about blueprints and manpower, it talks about magic. The story goes that two sorcerer brothers, Olisipa and Olisopa, came from a faraway land and used their powers to literally lift the giant basalt columns and create these islands right out of the sea.
Okay, so behind all that incredible folklore lies a truly staggering reality. We are talking about an impossible stone city. Nan Madol sits on the shore of Pohnpei, this remote volcanic island in Micronesia, thousands of miles from anywhere. And what makes it totally unique, I mean, one of a kind in all of human history, is its foundation. It's the only ancient city ever built directly on a coral reef.
And get this, the city isn't one solid piece of land. It's a massive complex of 92, yes, 92 separate artificial islands. All of them built by hand on the reef, with a whole network of canals running between them. People call it the Venice of the Pacific, but honestly, that doesn't even do it justice. Venice was built on islands that were already there. Nan Madol, they built the islands themselves, from the seafloor up. All right, so if it wasn't magic, then who? Who was behind this absolutely monumental project? This is where we shift from legend to archaeology to find out about this city's true builders. So archaeology gives us a pretty clear timeline. People have been living in this area for a couple thousand years, but the heavy lifting, the massive city building project, that really kicks off around 1200 AD. For the next 400 years or so, this powerful line of rulers called the Saudeleur Dynasty was in charge. They're the ones who oversaw this incredible expansion, turning a simple reef into their grand capital city, right up until they were overthrown sometime in the 1600s. Okay, now this is where the engineering gets really fascinating. To understand the genius here, you have to look at the city's most basic building block, the islet itself. So how in the world did they create stable, dry land in the middle of a lagoon? While the secret to why this city is still standing is a surprisingly sophisticated construction method. The walls aren't just a jumble of rocks. No way, they were built using what's called a header and stretcher pattern. Think of it like building a log cabin. They laid these long basalt columns in alternating directions so they interlocked perfectly. This creates these incredibly strong, stable seawalls that support themselves. It's proof of some serious architectural knowledge. The whole process was just brilliant. It's basically 3 steps. First, you lay down a foundation of huge basalt boulders right on the reef to mark out your territory. Step 2, you build up those high perimeter walls using that clever header stretcher pattern we just talked about. And finally, step 3, you just fill in the middle with tons of crushed coral rubble, and boom, you've got a raised, dry platform, totally safe from the tides. It was literally a factory for making land. But, okay, knowing how they built the platforms just leads to an even bigger mystery. Where did all this rock come from? And more importantly, how did they move it? We are talking about an estimated 750,000 metric tons of basalt. That is a mind-boggling amount of stone to move and place without any modern machinery. And of course, the legends have an answer for that. A pretty epic one, actually. The stories insist that the biggest stones, some of them weighing up to 50 tons, that's like a freaking whale, were just levitated. They were flown through the air from quarries on the other side of the island and just magically set into place. So you got legend versus archaeology. On one hand, you have magic and levitation. On the other hand, archaeologists suggest something that, might be even more impressive: sheer human ingenuity. The best theory we've got is that they used leverage and tons of manpower, rolling these colossal stones up inclined ramps made from coconut logs. Rafts might have worked for the smaller stones, but for the real giants, they probably would have just sunk. So the big question is, why? Why go to all this unbelievable effort? Well, Nan Madol wasn't just some random village. This was a highly organized ceremonial capital. This was the absolute seat of power for the Saudeleur chiefs, and the entire city was designed to shout, "We are in charge."
And you can see this social structure built right into the city's layout. Every islet had its own job. You had Pohnpei, which was the fancy royal residence for the king. Then you had the imposing Nandoas, with the city's highest walls, which was the sacred burial ground for the chiefs. Warriors lived on other islets, priests on others. It was a perfectly designed machine for maintaining power and social order.
But here's the thing. This incredible place has survived for almost 1,000 years. But right now, it's facing a whole bunch of modern problems that threaten to erase it completely. Nan Madol's future is, well, it's incredibly fragile. It's kind of ironic, really. The very forces of nature that make the island so beautiful are also its biggest enemies. You've got tree roots that are literally prying the stonework apart. You have constant wind and waves battering the outer walls. The famous canals are getting choked with silt and mangroves. And then there's the big one, climate change. Rising sea levels could just swallow the whole site. So what does it take to preserve a masterpiece like this? I mean, a whole city built on water. It is a monumental task. You have to find this delicate balance between clearing away the destructive plants without causing the walls to collapse. You have to fight erosion, manage the water flow. It is a constant, expensive battle against time and the ocean. And while there are efforts to protect it, it's a tough fight. So in the end, Nan Madol kind of leaves us with this incredible choice. Do you believe the legends of giants and magic? Or do you believe the archaeological story, which is just as amazing? A story of unbelievable engineering, complex society, and the sheer human will to build a capital city where one should never have existed. So what do you think? A city for giants or a testament to human genius? You know, maybe the real answer is that the genius it took to build this place was, in its own way, absolutely giant.